Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Rabbit Hole right here on FFN Radio Network and Blazeman Media with yours truly, Mr. Blazeman, Mr. D, and Mr. Donald right here on tonight's show, The Rabbit Hole. We got some pretty good topics that we're going to go over with tonight. We're going to talk about a little bit of gun control. Okay, we're going to talk about some climate change. We're going to talk about... crime rate. Crime rate's going to lead into gun control, and of course, again, we're going to talk and dabble with some economy, and again, climate change, because that's just how we're going to roll tonight on tonight's show, The Rabbit Hole. And with that being said, we like to open up with Mr. PGA himself, Mr. Donald. What's happening, brother? You might have your mic muted.
Oh, sorry. I turned it off. Thanks, everyone, for listening to the show. Oh, well, we started off a little wrong. There's no PGA here because we just slice and we're all over everywhere else. We talk about gun control, the crime rates. We get into that tonight because I just think there's a lot more at stake than the little things they're telling us. So maybe it's time we start figuring some more stuff out on our own.
I agree there.
Yes, Donnie, and definitely after we hit crime control, gun crime, and your famous gun swap there in Houston, I'd like to see if we can get on to a little what's going on in Florida right now in regards to climate change and what the left is saying right now, Blaze.
Yeah, we're going to get into that down the road, absolutely. And with that being said, we're going to start our first half hour off with some gun control and what the actual FUCK is going on here. We're going to start off with this little video, and then we're going to get to the nitty-gritty of it all.
Hello, everyone. You should panic because the ATF is trying to reclassify what a firearm is, and that could mean that all of your AR-15 upper receivers or the slides of your Glocks are now actually the firearm, not the more easily produced lower receiver or frames. Is that true? Well, not really, but it is something that we should be aware of and you should pay attention to. So let's talk about what's actually going on with this whole ATF debacle as far as redefining what a firearm frame or receiver is and how that could have big impacts on the industry and you and me at home. Before we really get going though, I do want to say thank you to my merch company, shallnotcomply.com. If you use the link down in the description to purchase anything on their website, even if it's not one of my merch collection items, if you use that link and then shop on that website, it helps support me and support this channel. So I'm very thankful for everyone that supports me and lets me keep doing this and help share more information with you guys. So let's talk about what's actually going on today. So ATF ponders changing definition of what is a firearm to target growing gun diversity. This is an article written by John Crump. John Crump has broken many stories by retrieving links and acquiring documentation and leaks from various government agencies that has given us an insight to the behind closed doors of what's going on at the ATF and various government agencies. I'm going to read this first paragraph real quick. Several large Type 7 federal firearms licensed manufacturers, the National Shooting Sports Foundation, and Polymer 80 met with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives today. Although the detailed discussions of the meeting are unknown at this time, AmmoLand News received leaked emails from our sources that show the ATF is seeking new definition of a firearm. Joe Biden has targeted so-called ghost guns and semi-automatic rifles in recent days. Sources say he is pushing to accelerate those changes by using the ATF as a stopgap for stalled federal legislation. Now, what's really going on with that? So several people, including big names in the firearm industry, are meeting with the ATF to kind of figure out what's going on. Don't take that necessarily as a bad thing. These agencies, these groups, they're trying to meet so that they can get an idea and hopefully shift the ATF from doing something crazy and radical. They're meeting with them so that they can have as much transparency within that as possible to help change what goes on inside. It's not like they're just trying to give away the trade secrets and ban everything. What is really going on? What is the whole issue of this? Well, the main issue stems from the actual definition of a firearm frame or receiver. So if we look at the actual definition of a firearm frame or receiver as written by the ATF, the part of a firearm which provides housing for the hammer, bolt or breech block, and firing mechanism, and which is usually threaded at its forward position to receive the barrel. If you would like a very in-depth, detailed definition of explanation of what this actually means, I'm going to recommend that you check out Fudbuster's channel. Matt, he's a great guy, very informative, but we're going to give my dumb, non-lawyer interpretation of what this means. So, a single part of a firearm, because it says that part of a firearm. So a single part, which does three things. It has to provide the housing for the hammer, provide the housing for the bolt or breech block, and the firing mechanism. It has to do all three of those things, and which is usually threaded at its forward position to receive the barrel. If we look at the lower receiver of an AR-15, the part that is considered the firearm, well, it definitely provides the housing for the hammer, but the bolt and the breech block are in the upper receiver. The firing mechanism is also in the lower receiver, but it's definitely not threaded at its forward position to receive the barrel on the lower receiver. Now that's kind of difficult because the lower receiver of an AR-15 hits two categories, but it seems like the upper receiver also only really hits this one category and maybe this last one, which isn't necessarily totally required. So there's no single part on an AR-15 which is actually considered a firearm. Does that mean that the ATF, the DOJ, and the California Department of Justice won't raid your house, kick down your door, and murder your dogs and family over this? No, not necessarily. So what I'm saying is, don't go out and disregard these laws without understanding the risks that do come with being a free man in America. If you're a free person in America wishing to exercise your rights to keep and bear arms, understand that the government does not like that and does not like you. So what's the big issue? Why is the ATF considered doing this? Well, there have been several court cases now that have been swept under the rug and forgotten because the ATF was unable to convict someone because what they were doing technically wasn't against the law as far as the feds are concerned. There's a man in Los Angeles, California, who was manufacturing from 80%ers, and now I may be quoting some of this information a little bit wrong, but the gist of it is this. There's a man in LA who was manufacturing AR-15 lower receivers and selling them without any sort of licensing. The problem is a former ATF special agent testified to say that, hey, the lower receiver of this firearm doesn't actually meet the definition of a firearm, so he's technically not breaking the law at all. The ATF very silently and very quickly swept it under the rug, dropped all the charges, because they were afraid if this were to go to the Supreme Court or any higher level court, it could totally destroy any semblance of gun control when it comes to AR-15s or similar firearms, because things like a SCAR, the FAL, many firearms that operate on a two-part system for the lower and upper receiver don't have an individual part that would be actually considered the firearm, meaning that it would potentially lead down a rabbit hole of us actually being able to exercise our rights to keep and bear arms by buying something online and having a gun shipped straight to our house. I don't know. That seems pretty neat to me, but the ATF doesn't like that. Now let's take this all with a grain of salt. it seems like for the past 5 years, I have been hearing little tidbits here and there about how the ATF is looking to change the definition of a firearm. I feel like every 4 to 5 months, I hear about something going on when it comes to, hey, the ATF is at it again. They're trying to change the definition. They're going to consider the upper the firearm, or they're going to consider the slide of a handgun the firearm, or the barrel, or maybe every single part of a firearm is now federally regulated in the same way that a full gun. And that would suck. That would suck a lot. And it seems like everybody, when they see this, they immediately jump to the conclusion that I need to go out and buy every single gun part because every single gun part is about to be considered a firearm, and I need to avoid that. Do I think you should do that? No. Do I think you should buy firearms if you have the monetary means to and would like to own them and potentially maybe want to not have to deal with any sort of future bans? Well, if you think that that's a reasonable choice for you, go ahead and do that. Do I think we all need to be super afraid and buy every single firearm part for every single firearm that we might want to buy right now? I don't know. I think there might be better decisions and better ways that you can spend your time, money, and resources. But, 3D printing is really interesting. It might be worth it just to acquire a 3D printer. But for a lot of people, I think you shouldn't necessarily be so freaked out and panicked about this. You should definitely be aware of it, and we should be following this story intently. If you're interested in this, I recommend you drop a like on this video so YouTube knows that this is something you're interested in. Hit subscribe and that kind of stuff, but I'm not super concerned. The big part about this that really troubles me is going to be covered in a video that I'm going to be talking about tomorrow when it comes to Biden's executive orders, because if the definition of a firearm changes, how does that affect the ability to import certain items which are already difficult to get into the States? I think that's a bigger topic that we're going to have to kind of discuss tomorrow. So if you want to know about that, make sure you drop a like, comment, subscribe, whatever it is, and stay tuned.
All right, Donnie.
There's a lot to gather there in what he's talking about. You put that together with the ATF, which you had the video earlier, the one nominee, Chapman. He couldn't even answer the question of what is an assault weapon to the senator during the hearing committee. But this is the kind of people that the Biden administration has nominated. So we'll take that to another subject another day, right? But you're talking about in Pennsylvania, the mayor of Philadelphia is trying to remove guns and change laws within the city of Philadelphia for all the crime. It's calling all the state level in Pennsylvania. You want to talk about gun registries, because the ATF is going to tell you that you're going to call it a muzzle, a silencer, a suppressor. Suppressors get tax stamps. Therefore, you have to register that. But a suppressor doesn't fire a bullet. So why are you trying to, that's the policy right there, to make that a weapon? That's not a weapon. Unless you're using it to beat somebody, but it's not a weapon. It just suppresses sound. Those are the dumbass rules that we're making, just like the video. There's no part of an AR-15 because it doesn't meet the criteria. It's not a weapon, or it's not a firearm, so they want to change it. I mean, yes, we know it's a firearm when you put it all together, but at least be smart about how you write it, because that's the problem right there. They're pissed off and they want to ban gun control, and they ban this weapon, ban that weapon. You want to take them away. The underlying factor for me is you're taking our guns away so we can't defend ourselves. That way you can still have superior firepower. That wins wars. So, control, but
Donnie, I got to rebuke you, man. On the muzzle thing, dude. There had to be some control on the muzzles. I mean, we couldn't have them all out. Could you imagine what crime would be right now if everybody had the ample opportunity to go to Academy, Dick's Sporting Goods, whatever?
All right. Well, you guys are going to be a little bit more specific for viewers that don't have knowledge of weaponry and stuff like that. And those seem to be the people the most that are coming out crying, that have no idea about weaponry at all.
That's my point. That's my point.
Yes. Well, we have a little platform here, and this is the place where, we can reach our little audience right now. And No, and getting back to the muzzle velocity.
Right. So
not the
break it down for them, please.
what they are. They're about cones. They're about what, Donnie, 3 inches, and they screw into different size calibers
Right.
of rounds, and they break down the silence down. I think it doesn't take it all away. There's still
No.
a good pop. It's not that
Yeah.
Hollywood shit you hear. Is pew, pew. No, it's
No.
not.
Right.
You get a pop still.
Right.
Right.
But
That's what they exactly what they need to hear, and I appreciate that. If you
Yes.
can continue, please.
No, but Donnie, the point. I kind of agree with that muzzle thing, man.
you can do it.
Silent suppressor, yeah. Oh
Okay.
man, because
But the way you classify it, Dean, that's my problem with it. You got these dumbasses classifying it as a firearm. No, it doesn't shoot a bullet. Classify it as an attachment to a firearm and set your legislation that way. Because that's what it is. It's an attachment. These are the same people that make laws that can take a 12-inch barrel. If I put a stock on it, it's a rifle. But if I put a hand grip on it, it's a pistol. It's the same 12-inch barrel.
well, let's go to
But it has different rules.
let's go to
So, the rules.
systems. No, wait a minute, dude. And the Army did a good job in that too, in the way it categorized its weapons. There was a couple of subsystems to make that one system full.
Right.
And maybe the ATF could learn a little something from the DOD.
All right. So let me
That
ask a
was good.
question. Now, okay. So you got a certain size barrel, we'll say on your rifle, your AR-15 or whatever. Okay.
Right.
And I'm not exactly sure if you could swipe out barrel size on an AR-15 or whatever. Okay.
No,
Is that
can't.
okay? So you can't. But there are a lot of rifles and weapons that you can. I'm trying to get the audience up to par, D. They don't understand these
I'm going to give
differences
you. I'm
between
going to give you a
things.
good example to use. Use a tank.
Well, okay.
All right.
All right. So on a tank, you can switch out the barrel, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So now, if I don't know why I'm using a tank, but I'll go.
Okay, Blaze, but this is where you're going down this so-called rabbit hole like that video.
Whoa,
now you're going to
rabbit
start
hole.
making individual part numbers or individual parts of the weapon that constitutes a firearm. So now everything, it has a firing pin, it's a firearm. So now you just blanketed all kinds of rules or all kinds of weapons. You just masked them all into one big subject. So now how are you going to define assault weapon, or how are you not going to define assault weapon? How are you going to define a shotgun or not a shotgun? That's the dumbass shit we got to fix. Because the way you just said it, Blaze, if we start doing that, and like the video said, going down that road, everything will be a weapon, and then all of a sudden we're not going to be able to have none of it. And once again, what does that ripple effect of that? The industries that it makes. That's just where they're going to,
But that's what I'm trying
the
to
market's
explain.
just gone.
Right. And some weapons, if you put a shorter barrel on it, its accuracy at a certain distance is greater. If you put a longer barrel on it, again, accuracy is better at a distance. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Those are the things that people don't understand,
Right, but we're not talking about individual guns. We're talking about politicians and ATF. Here's President Joe Biden pressuring somebody that's in the executive committee or executive branch. Hey, I failed at my political goal. I need to push it through you. And oh, by the way, I'm your boss. This is what I need you to do. That's going on right now.
Right. This is
That is
also
going
going
on.
on right now too. Check this out.
So
Oh, that was
Phone, by the way.
That's a pretty private question. I have I'll share the gun I'm proudest of. It's a Smith & Wesson Treasury commemorative gun, and the serial number is my birth date.
Oh, that's cool. Congratulations. Do you believe in banning assault weapons?
I do, sir.
Okay. Define assault weapons.
Assault weapons would be something that members of Congress would define.
Well, how do you define it? You're going to be running the agency.
Senator, I think this is a good question. If I am confirmed as ATF director,
I got 35 seconds left. Define it for me, would you please, sir? What's an assault weapon?
Yeah, Senator, the
He
bill
has no
to
idea
ban
what
assault
it's saying.
weapons
What is your
dozens of
definition of an
pages. There's
assault
no way I could define an assault weapon.
You don't have
in a
any. You're
second.
going to run this agency, and you don't have a definition of assault weapon.
But I would be enforcing the definition that members
Yeah,
of
but you're going
Congress
to be
passed.
issuing rules and regulations. Just give me your definition.
I'll give you one definition that ATF
Give me your
currently
definition.
uses. One definition that ATF currently
Give me your definition.
I can give you one definition.
If you won't
that ATF
answer my
currently
question, how can I vote for you? I'm done, Mr. Chairman. I don't think I'm going to get an answer.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, come
But
on.
He
This
said
guy's
something
going to run the
interesting there.
fucking ATF. You don't have a clue.
The guy
But,
kind of
I
looked.
mean-
The guy kind of looked like you there, Uncle.
But no, that's
In
the
your
people
younger
we're
days.
nominating. That's the people that are getting nominated to run agencies like this.
He
That
didn't
dude
make
wouldn't
it.
even give him he didn't make it, I know, but even wasting the time. But the senator said something very interesting. Rules and regulations. He's like, you're going to be making rules and regulations. Here we are. We're nominating people like this who can't even give a simple, straight answer to a senator, and we're trying to make them in charge of stuff. I mean, that's just
No,
that's
it's
the rules you got to change as well.
because
But it-
them positions are so politically tied with their
I know that.
groups, Donnie. Oh shit, he
So I'm
froze
saying
up.
I want that to change. That's what maybe we should change. Because people kill people. Let's keep that up front. Weapons don't shoot people. They don't do anything. They don't pull the trigger. It's a finger and a decision from a human that kills somebody. So let's make sure we're doing the right thing, because we keep going after these bans, and we're going to ban this weapon, we're going to ban that weapon. We're going to let Visa and MasterCard make a separate entry and category for weapon sales or certain stores that sell weapons. So there's your gun registry that you don't want, but you're getting it through the tax stamps so they know what you own.
Right.
That's where it all
Hey.
leads down to.
But,
Tell me the sole purpose. Go ahead,
but
D.
the tax stamp is not on every weapon. I want Donnie
I know
to
it's not,
clarify that.
I know it's not, Demon.
You know,
But
but
when you-
I think
This Demas, that's what I'm saying. They want to change a firearm. They can't even figure out how they want to attack Second Amendment, but they attack it all over the place with all this other stuff to take stuff away. But you're trying to classify shit, but you're not looking at the root evil cause of what you're doing later. You ban all this stuff. You make these policies. Not everything requires a tax stamp. Not everything requires registration. I understand that. And you want to change that, that's fine. But you got to be careful about how you change it, because look at what happened in Houston. What'd that man do? He spent $3 to make 50 ghost weapons or 62 ghost weapons, sold
Hey
them
there.
back to the city of Houston at a bring your gun back, and you take it. What's 62.50? That's like $3,000. He made $3,000 on a bunch of bogus guns that aren't even functioning. And what's the mayor
Hey.
do? He says it's a great thing. We turned him in. I got him off the streets, but now we're going to tighten up, and they have to be a functioning weapon. Well, once again, because you don't even define the rules when you go to put your policies in,
Yeah.
and you gave away a bunch of money that probably taxpayers funded.
Well, because when they made them rules, they never envisioned gun control being out of this whack and having these programs, these gun back programs. And I'm pretty sure the country was not there when they were thinking about the initial, gun control.
Right. So if you want to have
Yeah,
a convention on Second Amendment rights, let's do that as state. Sure.
No,
Go in there,
no,
fix it up. No,
no,
you're
no,
correct,
no.
Demas.
No,
No.
wait a minute, Donnie. No, let's back up. Let's back up, because I don't even want. We
No,
can
back
get
up what?
there.
Back up
No,
what?
no. Just pump the brakes a little, bro. Downshift. Let the engine catch up with the
I'm in my
transmission.
decent
Oh, you
half.
on
I'm
fire,
down
bro.
15. I'm up
Blaze.
15.
Blaze is
And a half. Down.
Blaze, what you hitting?
Come on.
Puff,
I know
puff,
I know what kind of show this is gonna be tonight. So I gotta start off early.
Let's go. What are you going to say, Demas? Because you just yapping your guns right now.
Yes,
Come on.
yes. The first topic I want to bring up again is to that silent suppressor, and
What
I'm
about
gonna go no, and I'm gonna go straight to this. Why do people need ARs to shoot deer?
No,
Bro, to shoot deer?
no. ARs are for fun. AR-15s are for fun. I understand that. Have it for fun and go have fun shooting stuff in the desert, in the hills, at driving ranges or target ranges, whatever, right? Have
You
fun with it. That's what it's for. I got no problem with that.
you really believe that?
Yeah, I do. But don't take it up into Walmart. You don't need it up in Walmart. Don't give me that bullshit.
Well,
If you want to say it's for self-defense, then you keep it at home.
No, but Donnie,
No.
and I'm a gun owner of that specific model as well. Not what that shithead used, what we discussed.
Right.
I really don't think if I was ever in the military that I would ever buy a weapon of that caliber. No,
I would have. Because
no, because I was never around. I was never involved with,
right. But,
I'm an old city boy going into an
okay.
organization that's got,
But
Okay,
and it's
so
just
it-
no.
all
The
right.
point I'm trying to make, we
Well,
we
hurry
got
up,
to
man.
have you got to have regular. Hey, hold up, man. We ain't got nothing
No,
but
you
time,
pump your
huh?
brakes and get it
We ain't
going.
got
Let's
we ain't
go.
got nothing but time. We Well, I don't see what the big deal is of the government tax stamp and the silent suppressor. Man, could you
it's
imagine
not
people
being.
owning
Well,
them fucking
because
things
that's the
like
way.
cotton
Hold on.
candy?
Let me jump
Oh
in
my
here
God.
just real quick, 10
Man,
seconds,
Jesus
because
Christ.
that's the whole point that I think Donnie's trying to make is this: if you start off small, then you start getting big. Oh, we want to stamp the silences. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't see that being a big deal right now. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now we want to stamp your firearm in itself. You know what I mean? And how much are they going to keep going until they get exactly what they want? And that is pretty much no to citizens to carrying any fire weapons at all. One of the reasons why in World War II from Japan, the reason why they didn't try to invade the United States, which they did, they invaded the United States up in Alaska area. Okay, but they did get on our soil. But anyways, one of the reasons why Japan didn't do that, and anybody can go and check out the history, is all of their higher ups knew that behind every fence and every tree there was going to be an American with a gun.
Right. I got no problem with people owning guns. My problem
Right.
is with the policies and the way we set the rules. You got to think this through because you just make it harder when you don't need to, or you make it so confusing. I.e., what part of this and that? Just dummy it down and get smart people in the room that know guns, that understand it. I wouldn't care if you have one of the guys from the big manufacturers, the people we do government contracting with. Get one of their smart people up in the room when you're making this shit. Don't just have some dumbass from the ATF that's a lawyer that maybe never shot a gun or anything like that, or like that Chipman dude. You're gonna have those kind of people making the decisions. We got to do
They
better
have
than
no
that.
idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, they have
Number
no
one.
idea what they're talking about. The rules are so stupid at this point. You need to chop them up and start all over. And I understand the Second Amendment, we need to maybe tweak it a little bit because the way it was written, when it was written, they didn't forecast these kind of times. There's no way they could have done it. It's
Nope.
outlived its usage, its age. I get it. It needs to be updated. But do it the right way. Because with that convention thing they're calling for in Pennsylvania and all that, you don't even know the rules of how to lay it out or how it's supposed to be. So how are you going to do it the right way? And then they're talking about we could throw in some provisionings for fiscal policies and stuff. What are you talking about? What we're talking about gun rights. That's all that should be talked about. If you're going to do
Are
that
you,
kind of thing.
Donald? Are you against having a database for people who own weapons?
No, but if it's voluntarily done. If I tell you, sure, I'll let you know I own this weapon. Keep it. I don't care. But don't go force it on people.
So say they're not going to calculate what you have now, but say for whatever instance this happens and it starts tomorrow, and when you go and buy a new gun, your information, the gun you got, all of that, what kind of ammo you bought that day and everything goes in the database.
Yes.
I can tell you
Yes,
I am.
it goes. It goes.
All right, D,
in the
you said yes.
database.
I'm still waiting for Donald's answer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I don't like that at all, and that could lead because that's going to lead into black market, which goes up to crime rates and some other stuff. So no, I don't like that.
Exactly. And with that being said, we'll be right back.
Okay.
And with that being said, we'll be right back with on how gun control and crime is it's all a complete mess. And we'll be right back with more of the rabbit hole in exactly 4 minutes, right here on FFN Radio Network and Blazeman Media. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Rabbit Hole. That's right. It's Thursday night, 9/29/2022. And we will be touching base on what's going on with Ian out there in the Florida coast, and that's going to be part of our climate change segment. But our first segment tonight was, about gun control. And again, the left keep pushing it and pushing it. Nobody's going to be happy on the left until you're not allowed to have a weapon. Okay. Number two, segment two pretty much bleeds out from segment one and how gun control and crime just happens. I don't think you're ever going to be able to stop somebody from getting a gun, guys. I don't think you're ever going to be able to stop that. You know what I mean? Number two, I just wanted to add, because I didn't get to add it on segment one about guns. No, I don't think that you need an AR-15 to go hunt deer, man. You know what I'm saying?
Or shoot the can off my head.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah, I need
no.
AR-15
I
for
would
that.
want to do that. I would definitely want to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's
one.
what Donnie is talking about, and in no way, shape, or form is FFN Radio Network, Blazeman Media, and the guys that are on this panel right now condone anybody trying to shoot a can off of anybody's head with any type of weapon. I don't give a shit if it's a wrist rocket. Don't try it at home.
No.
With that being said, again, we're never gonna stop criminals from getting guns. I mean, that's just how it is. But listen to me now. But I do believe that the media, and especially the left's media, takes this for granted, and that's their way of saying, "Oh, you see how guns are bad? Oh, you see how we need to get rid of guns?" Is because they got people going in and shooting up schools and all of those things to that effect. But from what I've been watching lately, okay, nobody really needs a gun no more, man. There's just 5 to 10 of them that run into a store, a sneaker store, a Walgreens, or a Walmart, and they just snatch and grab and run out the door. You know what I mean? So, hopefully it will lead to that. Anybody's response will be more than welcomed.
Demons, go.
Well, them controlled, them crime infested areas. Hot damn it! I beg for anybody on my panel, Blaze or Donnie, to disagree with me, but a majority of them are all under blue controlled mayors, man.
They all are.
The majority of them, yeah.
And this is weird, because I wanted to talk about this gentleman before, but could he be placed here on purpose? Is Soros, Edward Soros, Hungarian born. I guess he was
Everybody
born.
knows. If you don't know who Soros is, ladies
Well,
and gentlemen,
maybe they don't. Maybe they don't.
I'll give you a brief example. That what?
Who's got the camera right now?
Who's got the
How you
camera
say
right
Ed
now?
Soros?
Soros.
Yeah, Ed Soros.
I really firmly believe he's under this. And then second is that he really wants to see this country fall like his motherland, Hungary, fell.
Yeah. So why do you say it in that content? I really feel that the guy's come out in interviews and says he could do everything in his power to destroy the United States. Okay. Again, sitting back and saying, I never heard that. That don't mean nothing. It's out there.
Hey,
you can look it up.
All right. I don't want
But
you
I'm
to...
saying, you give people a false
cigarette.
narrative that this guy
I'm not.
is done nothing but anything that could help bring this country down. He has money and he has a part in it every single time.
No, but look at the comparison of New York City to Miami. A Republican mayor in Miami and a Democratic mayor in New York. And trust me, Miami can be a zoo if it's not controlled properly. And then people that control that is the police and how much backing they get.
And you also would think there would be more crime in Florida because it's fucking hot all the time. right?
Um,
Crime usually goes down a tiny bit. Wouldn't you agree? In New York around the winter time, nobody wants to be out in the cold.
So I was, yeah, but
Okay,
I would
but
hate to be a fool to be in Sheriff Carmine from Lee County. He told the looters in the press conference. He says, "Don't try it here." Period.
Yeah, I
He
remember
says,
that, and he got scrutiny like you wouldn't believe.
yeah,
when do you remember that? This happened today.
No, I thought
No, this
wasn't there
happened
another
today.
mayor? Wasn't
Uh,
there another mayor?
no, this it's a Sheriff Carmine.
I'm
right.
sorry,
There,
wasn't
there was
there
another
another
Lee
sheriff.
sheriff
County.
that said
Yes,
something to that effect, Donnie?
yes, there
Well,
was. I think he was out
Yes,
of
thanks. That's what
Arizona.
I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Instead
That
of
was
D
And
saying, yeah, there
it,
was
it,
another
was
sheriff,
that
but
BC? Was that BC or AC? That was
whichever,
BC
demon.
before COVID. All right.
Yeah, before
Look
whatever,
at that. You like that, huh?
whatever.
AC
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
after
yeah.
COVID.
Whatever,
What
whatever.
do you know
But
it? I'm a
what?
poet. What's
oh
up?
oh my God.
My
You've been hanging
God,
around
my
with the
God.
14-year-olds today, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I haven't.
No, the thing is, crime's going to go up, and that's where I was talking about in the first segment about this administration and the politicians that we have right now. They don't think things through. It just seems like they don't think about what's the ripple effect of what's going to happen if we do this. Because all you're doing, just like the case with the AR-15, if you try to ban those upper receivers or the lower receiver, or you take the firing pin out, and it ain't gonna do shit either. You know, there's so many pieces that are involved in that to make sure
Yeah.
to fire a bullet, it's not funny. So you got 4 or 5 different pieces you're going to ban. All you do is take that market, that demand, and this is where
Hey,
I'm agreeing with your tax stamp, Demas. Hold on. This is where we bend ourselves over the table and say, give it to me some more. Because we let those bans and we let them push all that product to the black market. The people in Chicago, the people in Philadelphia right now, the school shootings, these people didn't go and just purchase the weapon, you know, at the local Dick's or Sporting Good Academy or weapon shop. They're getting them on the black market because they don't want it to be known. They don't want it to be registered. So all
Right,
you do
and
is
now-
take that product because why? The
100%,
product is made
Donald.
overseas.
100%, Donald. They're not walking into fucking Dick's Sporting
No.
Goods, buying a weapon, and then going to shoot up the school.
Right. So
Go
when
ahead,
you
bro.
push it
You're
to the
on
black
fire.
market,
Go.
you push it to the black market. Guess what? That's international because that's where a lot of them parts are made. You can't stop that. So what's going to happen? And we're in that situation right now in a lot of cities. The people the cops are trying to stop have better weapons than what the cops have. But then
Yeah.
when you bring in the SWAT teams and the MRAPs for civilian that Army sold or whatever, and they start just bulldozing people and taking down buildings, all of a sudden, oh, we're going to sue them because they were abusive force. What do you want them to do? They have to have superior firepower. So
Exactly.
where are you
exactly.
going to get this from?
Do y'all remember when they changed
Shit.
that law? Do y'all remember when they changed that?
But
What
that's all
law?
you're doing.
As far
What?
as the police carrying like AR-15s. Okay, you
I don't
remember that?
know.
Okay,
No,
There was
listen.
shit.
talk
I'm
of
gonna
it.
try to. I'm gonna try to explain it. Is
You pop a
when
trunk.
when they had that big robbery, that bank heist in California, where the dudes were
Oh,
completely
yes.
jacked up with armor
Damn.
from head to toe. They were
Yes, I
shooting
remember that.
AR-15 type style rifles, and these
Right, okay.
police officers, all they had were 9mm and shotguns. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when all of that went down, that's when they put a law or they filed or whatever and said, look, all police squad cars are going to be equipped with one like AR-15 type of rifle
Yeah,
in case they run into a situation like that.
Oh, there's
So
been
that's
many
when that
changes.
all started happening, because the only people in the police department at that time would carry anything like that was SWAT. You know?
Right. But that's goes
Okay, but that
beyond
all
what we're
pertains
talking
to
about.
what's happening now when they're saying, oh, police
Right.
carry it, they're not the army, the police, they don't need this weaponry. And
We're going to
that's pretty
defund the
much where
police.
that started from.
I'll
Right, but
come in
what
right
I'm-
now.
whoa,
I'll come in
whoa,
right now. I'll
whoa,
save the
yeah.
conversation. Whoa. You
Guess
had
what?
something?
Because I wasn't done. Hell yeah, I was done.
I thought you were
I wasn't
neutral,
done.
bro.
No, hell no. Hell no, because
Okay,
I was going into your tax
get your
stamp.
ass back in your gear then.
Well, shut the
He's
hell
on
up and let me
fire,
talk
bro.
in. Open your 2 ears and shut your 1 mouth for 5 minutes.
There you go. Go ahead,
I'm
Donnie.
just saying. You want to push it. You push a black market, and this is where the tax stamp and everybody, yes, make the money off it. Our nation needs to start thinking as we need to make a profit because we can't keep running on a deficit. Well, here's your chance. Here's your chance.
Right.
You got it right here. You can tax it, do all that, but change the rules so it explains that and everybody knows it. So that way, when you go buy that AR-15, you know exactly why you're buying and you're paying all the money you're paying. I can get with that. But when you try to ban it, all you do is push it to the black market, and then we get no tax money. And then you want to tie Visa, American Express. How are they going to stipulate, or how are they going to, distinguish what was bought that goes on the register as a weapon and what was bought at that store that's not a weapon if they can't scan your receipt? So how do you pose that? So when you attack it that way, then you further push the cash movement and the black market movement even more. Because I don't want you to check me. So guess what? I'm going to go get some cash out and I'll just buy it cash. Then they can't say shit.
Excuse me.
But what happens
Mr.
when
D,
you push the
is
cash?
Donnie putting you to
Price goes
sleep?
up.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, because
No,
you're
he
laying
had,
back,
no, he had me in the ropes, man.
Right. So
You had me on
how
the
you
ropes.
coming back? How you coming back? You
Well,
opened this.
No, and I'm glad Donnie brought that up because we have to be very cautious here what the ATF's history has been when it comes to remanufactured guns. And that goes all the way back to Ruby Ridge, and just recently happened in the early 90s, the David Koresh. What the hell's the name of that compound?
The Devanch Davidian.
The Branch Davidians, yes. Man, the ATF, they were going in there for a warrant for manufactured weapons. Had nothing to do with all that other bullshit he was doing, incest and all this other bullshit. He was remanufacturing weapons, and the ATF stands to that still to today.
But
But
did they ever have
what?
but the point, the the point, my brain is going this way, that way, this way. You know, are the ATF tagging somebody in Idaho in the woods? You know, or in the southern plains here of Texas? You know, is there another group rising? Or I need to take my PTSD medicine. I didn't take it today.
All right,
No,
we got you.
Yeah,
Donnie,
yeah,
explain that.
yeah.
Explain that. Oh, the ATF is far overreaching because they're trying to get further down into where everything's being bought and where it's being sold, so they can try to control it all. That's no secret. Of course they are.
Right.
But this is where I'm saying we keep attacking the Second Amendment, but all these politicians, they just keep using all these things for examples, but they provide no answers. How do you want to change it? What are you going to classify? Because look, the dumbass rules of what we
Right,
got
give
now
us something.
is why we
Yeah.
have 3D guns at this, or people getting 3D printers and making these ghost guns because
Right.
you try to restrict it so much. If you haven't learned that this isn't working, crime rates are still up. They're going to get the weapons they want. All you're doing is further fueling the black market and other industries. That's all you're doing.
You want to slow that down a little bit? Stop selling the 3D printers to homeowners. I mean, I can
I'm
see you
saying-
selling it to a company or whatever, but you know what I mean? Like if you walk in there and you say, "Oh, I want a 3D printer," and they say, "What do you want it for?" "Oh, well, just for home use, so I could do this." And they, no, you can't buy it.
Okay, that's exactly what's going on with why they want to take away and say you can't buy this. They're trying to ban it, but you're so what rules are you going to go by on that one? Because who are you to say I don't run my business out of my home? I'm the owner, i.e. K-Sam Enterprises. I'm the owner. I run it out of my house. I go in that store to buy that printer for my business. What do you need to know
Right.
what I'm using it for? You can't do
Right.
that. So that's what I'm
Well-
saying. How is MasterCard and Visa and all these people going to segregate that unless you can get down and see what's on the receipt? But then
Nope.
you get political influence or maybe even
Hold on,
legal
Dave.
influence onto what's going on and how you implement that. How you implement that process. Are you going to do legal? Because what's the legal ramifications if you get in there and you violate a policy? How are you going to know what separates what?
Yeah, but
Nice.
there's certain things I can't buy from the government because I'm a citizen and I shouldn't have it. So what's the difference between a 3D printer? Okay,
Uh,
so yeah,
you
all
can
right,
do
you
more
do.
than
All
just
right,
what it's
listen,
doing
you
right
work from
now.
home, right? You work from home, I get it, but there's also a company name on it. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So you have to give them the company name. I understand that might be a little tiny loophole for you to get one, but I think it would
No,
slow down the 3D printing process. You know what I mean? But I don't
I
know.
don't
To
know.
be honest with you,
I don't get that.
I'm probably talking a little gibberish
Because
here.
if I can make parts for a gun with a 3D printer, who's to say I can't make other things and make money? I just don't see where you could
Right,
ever enforce that. I just can't see
right.
that. So
Again, it
we
was
go
just like
back to
a far left
yeah,
idea, not meaning Democrats. I just meant
no,
far left idea of saying, look, what else can we do to try to stop this ghost gun making and guns getting into criminals' hands? But it's not
I
ever
got
going to end.
no, but I got
Listen, if they
no.
take it's common sense, right, Donnie? I know you're going to back me on it, especially you, D. You know what I mean? If you take all the citizens that are law-abiding citizens, all their guns away from them, that's not going to stop criminals from getting guns.
No, we already
Um,
know this. That's why it all
Okay, so
circles
that's
back to
what.
what. That's why we keep talking, and we always circle back to the policies. How about we change the policies, or how about we enforce what I said earlier about guns don't pull triggers? People pull triggers via decisions that they make and actions that they take. So enforce those rules. Get stiffer on those. Maybe that probably that. Hey, and the other thing too is work with the gun manufacturers and stuff and make it easier for them to profit. Or if you want to beat all the taxes and all that and make some money off it, go ahead. Go ahead and do it. But just
Right?
don't go extreme and make it so stupid that we can't afford to buy the thing that we want. Because that's a lot of what happens at the same time. That's another means of enforcement or banning something when you just make the price so high that very few can buy it or even care to buy it. It's another means of enforcement, of control, or whatever. Don't do
OD,
that.
OD.
how the hell you want me to get behind Donnie right now? That kid is on fire, man. Anything I say that comes out of my mouth after that speech,
What are
shit.
you talking about?
No, let's take this to a break, man. Shit.
No, we don't need to take it to a break.
Man,
Come
I got
on,
no
Demon.
time for it. It's
Come
not
on,
time
we
for a
gotta start the
break,
break.
man.
God
What,
damn
Demon?
it,
Think about it.
Clarence.
Just think about right there where you're living at and where you're at in El Paso, point to entry. That's where all that's gonna be. Now you just, if you ban these other things, now you just stress those that are trying to come in the country dealing with immigration and everything else. You just stress that area, those areas even more. Now they got more stuff to look at. That's another ripple effect of what you're trying to do is going to just make it harder on everybody else. And once again, we go to policy where the sheriffs can only, like
A policy.
in Illinois, where the no detain laws are going in effect on January.
Yep.
I mean, I know
Yeah, their logic again is like what I just said. Okay, the Democratic logic is what I just said. They want to take every American citizen or law-abiding citizen's guns away, and when they do that, they think that crime is going to fucking go down. No, crime is going to go up higher because the criminals know that the average citizen can't carry a gun. And anybody
right,
who obeys the law.
right, but when you're talking about why the crime is there, let's really get into that. I mean, it's there. It's not going to stop simply because, like you just said, you take somebody who's a lifetime criminal. That's what they do. They're a career criminal. They're just going to find other ways to get what they want, and
Right.
that's human nature. We all do it in different ways. That's just human nature. So yeah, the black market's not going to go away. It's always going to be there. You just need to try to limit what goes into it at this point. That's
Hey,
just the way it is.
And you're
hey,
also going to
Donnie.
talk about a lot more knife murders.
Yeah,
OD.
No, Donnie sprung a little something on me, the black market. And I know the cartel is got a strategy when it comes to us, the United States. But one, I was watching some late night show, the number one late night show in America, and
You don't need that.
one host made a comment. As kind of a strange marketing scheme. You make a drug that kills your customer. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what gun manufacturers do. Same with
No,
dope
no,
dealers and everybody else. They make something that can kill you. Yes, I understand. Automobile
no,
guys, same
no,
thing.
no, man, no. But like cocaine, everybody. I mean, cocaine is the clean man's drug, and blah blah blah.
Right. But
And
here's my
that
point,
they'll
Dean.
always. No, my point is, why are they marketing it like it's fucking Tic Tacs or Skittles or some shit, whatever? Why would
Marketing
you?
what?
There's fentanyl out in these streets, man.
Because people are profiting from it. That's who's marketing it. That's simple business strategy. I don't know why you would think that. But the crime rate.
No, Donnie. But why would you put? Why are you putting a dress on a drug?
Why am I putting? Who's putting the dress on it? I'm making a
The
point
the,
of
ma- the
what we're
manufacturer.
going
manufacturer.
after.
How are we on
Right.
fentanyl?
Yeah.
Say again?
What I'm making a point of, Demas, is you said the manufacturers of guns, right? They make a product that kills their customers. So do
No,
car
I
makers. Listen, Demas, listen. So do car makers. So do drug makers. So do tool makers. It's not the product that actually kills them. The point is that it's the people operating those things that kill them. It's the people making the drugs. It's the people operating the automobile, shooting the weapons. Those are the ones that kill. So if we want to talk about crime rates, let's get real and start punishing people. And I'm sorry, you may think the death chamber, the gas chamber are so bad for, ending a life. Great with me. We can go back to seven-man firing squads. I'm good with that. Because,
wake them up,
hey,
Mark.
it's 50 cents, $1, okay, probably $5 a bullet now. $35, add $5 for use of the 22s, or whatever weapon, that we use, the shotguns, whatever. So $40, I'm good with that, because we shouldn't have to spend close to $75K a year on average nationally to house an inmate on death row for 50 years, 40 years, 30 years. If your 3 appeals are done after 25 years and you killed 7 people, well, we're going to go ahead and give you 7 rounds too. We need to stop being like that. If you want crime to stop, you got to be harder on enforcement.
Yes,
And
but
there's nothing
wait a
wrong
minute.
with that. That's not, what?
Yeah, but what do you? No, and I'm totally for that. Let's identify the culprit here, and then law
Right.
enforcement.
Just like the lady said
I don't think
last
it's
week.
the police. I don't think
No.
it's the police.
No. No, the problem is
This is
the
one of the
policies
craziest.
and
Go ahead.
no, the problem is the policies and how we're making them, and we contradict ourselves to the point where people can go and damn near walk up to somebody, plain as day, shoot them in the thing, got video, and all of a sudden now we're insane and we're putting them in an insane house for the rest of their life, or, because of who their daddy is or was, or the mommy, whatever, fame or whatever, we're sending them off to, plus resort style
Exactly.
prison for 5 years.
Exactly.
Just
Even
keep
though
the
they were a
buzzers set up.
murderous
No.
psychopath bastard, they're still
Right.
trying to make them out to be, well, their
Right.
childhood was fucked up.
Hey, no.
Yeah,
Grown
no,
adults, we make decisions. We have to understand that there's consequences. And if we get tougher on crime, and I'm talking crime at every level, even the little, hey, Johnny took the thing, he's 7 years old, he doesn't understand. No, you make Johnny take that damn thing back and you tell him. And maybe Johnny learns a lesson. Oh, I can't make it hurt my baby's feelings. No, you're teaching him a lesson.
Right.
That all the way down to there, you got to get stiffer on it if you want some change. Because right now, there's a great article that somebody, I got to find it. I sent it to you guys earlier. I'll try to find it in the chat. But
Okay, well, you
great
can look for
point.
that article, buddy, as soon as we come back. with more of the Rabbit Hole right here on Thursday night, 9/29/2022, with yours truly, Blaze Man, Mr. D, and Mr. Donald. And when we return, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to touch base on some climate change and the economy. All right, so stick around. The Rabbit Hole will be back in exactly 4 minutes. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Rabbit Hole. 9/29/2022, Thursday nights, every Thursday nights from 7 to 9 p.m., right here on FFN Radio Network, Blazeman Media. I am your host, Blazeman. Alongside me is Mr. D and Mr. Donald. Now, before we went to our 4-minute break, we were discussing gun control, crime. You know, pretty much anything that you could think of. And on both sides, Republicans and Democrats, nobody knows how to handle this situation. And I'm sure the rabbit hole will discuss that even more down the road. But with that being said, we're going to touch base on a little bit of the economy. And of course, our analyst on the rabbit hole is Mr. Donald. So we're going to let him break out on that right away.
You want to open this up and talk on economy. What do you want to talk about? The dumbasses that we have up in Washington right now that only seem to think, hey, let's just throw more money at it. I don't care if we borrow from somebody else. We're just going to throw more money at it. The same dumbasses that want to sit up there and tell us about, and Biden himself, when he goes out to some of these things about how we need to pay down our debt and make sure we got our monies and be fiscally responsible and make sure we're planning for the future. And you want to brief me all that, but you run a $1 trillion a year deficit. And you want to tell me about borrowing no, how about you sit your asses down and you hash out a budget? Because you ain't passed one of those in almost 2 decades. That's what you do. If you really want to do it, how about you invest into the United States? Worry about our borders. If you want to venture out and they're international anymore, go north and south. Because that fixes immigration. That helps out. We don't have to pay as much. Get our dollar back to being the global dollar that it was, as far as the centerpiece that we trade off of on a global level. Because we're about to lose that. That's the big problems maybe they could think about, instead of how I'm going to put out this fire because I got this one political group that is millions strong and they want some money and they've been wronged, and we need to figure out how to make it okay. I'm sorry history wasn't great to you. Everybody's run through some bullshit in their life. You just happen to get through yours better, man. I don't know, but no, we don't need to get paid because somebody hurt your feelings. That shit needs to stop.
Where are you coming up with a case or something that's triggering this?
Oh, you know what I'm coming up with, Demas. You know damn well what I'm coming up with.
No.
The amount of money that's going out right now. The amount of money.
Oh, it's
insane. It's insane. We're doing all this, leasing all this stuff. Giving all these weapons, everything to Ukraine to fight that war, which it needs to be fought. Don't get me wrong. It needs to be fought because Putin needs to go. But it's how we're financing it and how the taxpayers are just going to be suffering later on. And then you turn around and you want to preach to us how it's going to be great if we keep you in office. You have
wait a minute. So you just quoted that he's getting I work for the Joe Biden campaign, and I'm going to give this. I'm one of his little intel advisors to the speaker that can make a shit sandwich look like a bologna sandwich. Anyways, all Biden would have to say is, I picked up that $1 trillion deficit because I couldn't see Ukraine getting out-bullied by big bad Russia. That's where I picked up the deficit. But on the other side, I saved $250 billion.
On what?
You know? The Inflation Reduction Act. That's what you sold me on the other day.
No, those
it was going to be $250 billion that was going to help us.
Right. And
I think it was going to take 0.3 away from the inflation.
Right.
Correct.
Right. That's about a 0.3%. That's what they guesstimate.
Right. So I'm defending Joe Biden's financial record as he's been president.
You did one good thing. And I even said it when we talked about it before. That's the first piece of legislation they passed that was actually worth the shit. That's the only one. The rest of them have done nothing but get us further in debt. Like I said, you got the economy, you got the rules so bad and so confusing that the people the student loans, they don't even know how to put it down and put it the right way so it'll generate the tax form, so those that they give the forgiveness to have to pay taxes on it. You can't even do that because you got the wording of the legislation so confusing. They don't know how to enforce it. They don't know how to apply it.
Here's another
aid we're giving out to Ukraine. At what point are we going to get anything back? Because the taxpayer can't keep funding debt. You're talking about $6 billion to end hunger, right? How much of that have we paid over and over and over again with aid to countries and other people that do nothing for us.
If I was ambassador of that defending country, I think I'd give the politically correct answer, and that would be democracy has no price, Mr. B.
Oh yes, democracy does have a price.
Oh,
That's right.
God.
Yes.
No, it don't,
Yes, it
man.
does.
It don't.
Yes,
No,
it
I'm serious.
does.
'Cause that's what
Oh
you're,
no,
because
no,
that's what you're
no.
gonna hear from the politicians,
Democracy
man.
has a
You
price.
know it, Donnie.
No,
Donnie, you
sir.
walking up
No,
in there like
sir.
you're King
I'm
D.
King D,
You
because
King.
I'm gonna
I
tell you
told
right
everybody
now.
I work house for the
I'll tell you
master.
right now. Democracy has a price. It's paid in blood, and it's paid via bribes, which we call campaign contributions. So that is paid. No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Democracy is paid for.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
even try that. So let's not go there, because yeah, that's wrong. And so democracy is paid by for all people, Republicans involved.
No, but see, you wouldn't say that to Abdul Shamani.
Oh, come on.
Why would I not say it to Abdul
You hear
Shamani?
me?
I tell Abdul Shamani the same shit. If you want democracy in your world, it's paid through blood and bribes. Be a B.
But
Be a
as
B,
a
I
baby.
think
countryman,
they know that.
if you pay me, if you pay my country, that makes me a mercenary.
Oh, God. I hate when
No,
you do this
no,
shit. Mike, you know, come
no. That doesn't make you a mercenary.
on.
Yes, it does.
There's
You're
so many
paying me
political
for
deals.
my service now to liberate your country.
So if I'm shredding
Yeah,
some
okay, so
fucking
we're
papers in
mercenaries.
an office, I'm a mercenary?
No.
Okay, so whatever. Even okay, there's countries that are mercenaries. You could say that. Okay, whatever. They're mercenaries. What does that have to do with our economy right now, Demon?
Hey,
What does that
Donnie,
have to do with our economy?
for the warm up in Iraq, warming the soil for the other battles to come in Desert Shield.
Okay.
The king, he's a little younger then. He's still walking around.
Yeah.
He wanted to give every American soldier a $500 bonus, but Bush had to step in and say we were not.
No.
If we were to take it, would be our country would be labeled as a bunch of mercenaries.
Yes. Yes. But there was other ways that we were paid, and we're getting paid back for that. So do we? I think that's maybe for another time and topic, because I really believe that.
Yeah.
'Cause I read, we were talking, I sent the article up earlier when we just briefly got into some stuff about these Trump and the way money goes. But it's the same thing for the elected officials now. That's why I say the bribes pay for democracy. Because as a foreign state, the way I read the article is you can't send money directly to, say, Donald Trump, because he has the Saudi Arabian embassy or some international country from an international whatever. He has their team of people in the leadership come over. So they stay at Mar-a-Lago Ranch, right?
Where?
Well, they at Mar-a-Lago Ranch or whatever the hell that shit is.
Mar-a-Lago.
Down there.
Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah,
All right,
Mar-a-Lago.
bro.
Okay, there you go. So they stay down there. They can't give Trump money directly, right? But this is the way I read the rules, and I'm just making an example. But they can give Merlot his resort down there. They could pay that resort for staying there, no problem.
Yes,
Because
sir. I can
you
imagine
can't
that.
give it directly to.
Yeah, you can't give
Hey,
it to the individual. Yeah.
But if they have an entity that they have control over, you can give that money to that entity.
Epstein's
So
been there.
that's a bribe. If that's no other way to cover up a bribe, I don't know how. Because you know all these
Yeah.
senators and these politicians and everybody else that's in that game, they have companies, advisory or counsel companies. Oh, I give advice. I'm just their general counsel when they want to know something. Whatever. That's just a hush company so they can give you your money and it's all legal. And you can go bribing politicians. That's basically how it goes.
Yeah, man. Yes, sir.
But when it comes
Yeah.
to fixing our economy, when are we going to start working indoors? I mean, let's think about this. I was trying to look it up right now, but how many times if you take $1 and it's spent in the U.S., say 3 times, what kind of tax revenue, what creates that? What kind of revenue would that create if we really paid more attention into building at home? or at least building closer compared to where we're at now.
Forever friendly.
Yeah.
For friend.
Forever friendly.
Listen.
Yeah, but no, think
No,
about
I'm
it too.
serious. I'm serious.
But where we at right now, inflation? There was a couple of guys. I had their name right here. Hold on.
Listen, you know, the fucking Democrats are actually coming out right now and saying that the recession, they had this explanation package that they came out with, and to explain to the American people on how a recession can be good for you. Since when can a recession be good for anybody? But no, these people actually have that out, and they have been slinging that bullshit since the past couple of days.
And
it depends who you are. Go ahead, Davis. I'm sorry.
No, and they're going to distance themselves away from their voting group that they're looking at, away from Biden. Away from Biden. I mean, you know, you got some key races. I think Stacey Abrams, that's one. The chick down there in Georgia going against Kemp.
Okay. You're talking about the stroke victim?
No, that's Fetterman.
Okay,
Fetterman.
I'm sorry. My fault.
Yeah.
My fault.
But
okay, go ahead.
No, you took it away from me. I want to talk about Florida equals the Peace Corps, but go ahead. And I know what segment that'll come into.
I want to jump into Florida also, and the hurricanes and climate change and all of that stuff. And but Dave, you want to go and talk about a Peace Corps real quick? Go ahead.
Well, and I again, we're always looking to give out handouts, and I'm just talking about right now what a good time would be for a young man to belong to the Peace Corps of his state and get called up and go help the folks in Florida. And that's probably all he'll do during his 3 years as a Peace Corps person. Get all these accolades, get smart during the time, still in college and all that shit. Where is that shit? Or is it went all to Africa? Because they are definitely helping the folks of Africa, and I salute them. But we need to take care of ourselves a little bit too. Am I making sense, or I'm out of kilter? I'm just looking at ways.
You're making sense, but people don't see or hear from the Peace Corps on their local media channels and in Fox and CNN and stuff like that. They hear shit like Red Cross, FEMA, you know, stuff like that.
But let's not forget the Peace Corps was a government program. It was during the Kennedy era. And it grew, and I can't remember where it faded out, but I remember as a young man watching commercials for recruitment
about the
into
Peace Corps.
Yep.
And it was always about Africa, like you said. You know what
I
mean?
Yeah, it was. But you belong to something, you know, and you got reimbursed not only with an education, but the biggest thing that a regular college student can't give is experience.
Right.
And Donnie's
trickles down.
Donnie's wet in the throat. He's ready to come at me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're wrong.
Okay, Demas. I don't know what that was about, but sure. But
I don't know either.
Climate change. But we all got to get smarter about what we do and how we do it. But the problem is, and just like, I mean, when I was going to say about gun control, there's no incentive, right? There's no incentive. Just like the thing I showed you guys about it, the pay stubs earlier in the week. There's no incentive for that young man to work for that bonus anymore if he's going to lose half of it to taxes. You're talking about almost $400 out of his $800 he lost to taxes. So what's the incentive for the green movement anymore? That's where we're at as a society. We want an incentive.
Well, yeah. I'll tell you what with all of these things.
Can we fund it?
I'll tell you what with all three of these things: climate change, gun control, blah blah blah. If there's money, if they can make a shit ton of money off of it, you watch how fast change happens on both fronts. Okay, like but until there's no money, until there's money to be had, yeah, you keep bringing it up, talking about it. Look, what's been driving me crazy the past couple of days with this pretty bad hurricane that hit Florida in the name of Ian is every storm is devastating. But what pisses me off again about the left is they're not talking about this storm, about how it was a bad storm. They're talking about on how this storm has to be contribute to climate change, contributed to climate change. Okay. Now, again, our favorite person in the whole world on this show, Mr. Don Lemon, he's sitting there at his desk and he is having a conversation with an actual scientist about, the Hurricane Ian. And Mr. Lemon, every chance he gets, goes, "Oh, how does this contribute to climate change?" And the professor's just looking at him and like, "Yeah, we're not talking about climate change right now. We're talking about what's going on with this storm, how it's going to affect people, all of this shit like that." And then when he doesn't answer Mr. Don Lemon's question, of course, Don asks it again. And the scientist replies with the same basic answer. And then Don Lemon comes out and says, well, pretty much what Don was saying. Okay, you read between the lines. It's like, well, you don't know what you're talking about because I lived in Florida and I've seen a lot of bad storms. And the scientist is still looking at stupid Don. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about whatsoever. And the reason why I bring that up is because I want to, follow in suit. So what I did was I did some research on hurricanes, Florida hurricanes since 1950. I could have went back and put in hurricanes since 1940, but I don't think we started really tracking stuff like that until like the 40s or something to that effect anyways. Okay, so they're saying that the storms are getting stronger and bigger and all of this stuff like that, right? So I highlighted them so I didn't have to read like all of these fucking things. But I remember, like I said, this starts from 1950. Okay, September 5th, 1950. This storm's name was Easy. It was a Category 3. Okay. Now, all of these, I'm not going to mention the Category 1s, 2s, and 3s. Okay, unless they have a high death toll. Is everybody with me?
Yep.
That's the only time I'm going to mention a 1, 2, and 3 because those storms are really, technically not big storms. Anyhow,
let's just get to the sum of it.
So, 1950, October 18th, 1950, King was the storm's name, and it was a Category 4. Okay, it swept through Miami. 3 people died from it. Okay, September 1960, September 10th, 1960. Donna was a Category 4. Okay, and it 14 casualties from that storm. Okay. Now we're jumping. Okay. Enzi was the name of this storm. October 1966, October 3rd, 1966. All right. This was the reason why I bring this up is this was a Category 2 hurricane, and it killed 48 people. 48 people died. Moving along. This was Andrew. You see how far I'm going to the next freaking big giant storm that they're supposedly been happening forever? Andrew was a Category 5 hurricane, August 1992, August 24th, 1992. It killed 44 people. Moving on to the next big giant storm. Charlie was a Category 4, August 2004, August 13, 2004, killed 29 people. Okay. The next storm that same year, September 5th, 2004, was a Category 2, just barely made Category 2, and it killed 32 people.
Okay, so the point is this.
Hold on, almost there. Almost there.
Oh, come on, guy.
Well, hey, there's a point to this, man.
Come on.
Only got one eye.
You can't just hurry me up because you don't want to hear it all. Listen, the next
Let's get
one
to the
was.
point is what I want you to do.
I am.
Okay.
You should already be at the point.
He's got PTSD.
Irma was a
Come on,
Category
come on.
4. That was September 2017, September 10th, 2017. Irma was a Category 4 storm, and it killed 87 people. All right. Michael was a Category 5 storm. October 2018, October 10th, 2018. That that landfall was at Mexico Beach. That killed 47 people. All right. Duran, Category 5, 2019. Okay. Killed 6 people. Isaiah, 2020. Okay. It had no landfall. It was a Category 1. Sally, Category 2. No landfall. 2020. Elsa, Category 1, 2021, no landfall. Okay. And then you have Ian, Category 4. Okay. The death toll isn't exactly out or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is that, people like Don Lemon and all the leftist media or whatever, they give false narratives that these storms, you know what I mean? That Florida's never been hit with hurricanes before. And they've been hit with hundreds of hurricanes. You know what I mean? And none of them, out of all of those storms that I mentioned, there was 3 that was Category 5 and 3 that was Category 4. All the rest of the other storms were nothing. So if climate change is making these storms larger, I don't see any change. It's a point I'm trying to make. I don't see any change in none of it.
I don't see a change in any of it neither, because you can go and track the storms. They travel around the earth, and it's timing. That you can scientifically prove. Yeah. Have the storms gotten worse? Probably so, because guess what? Just like your little moon theory, Blaze, throw some shade at you on that, the technology to track it has gotten better. So we know more information. We get better information. We have better tools and resources to track these storms. So, of course, we're going to say they're bigger. Is there anybody that can disprove it? Probably not, because guess what? You can't go back and try to judge time, and that's gone, that you can't get back. Stop worrying about if the storms that they got worse or getting worse, and tell me about how it is in the past. How about you tell me they're getting worse and how you're going to try to maybe change it in the future? Or maybe we stop messing with the stuff altogether, and maybe it'll calm back down. Because I think sometimes with science, we're trying to control things that maybe were never meant to be controlled.
Exactly.
Weather might be
Don't
one
fuck
of them.
with nature. Yeah. Why you got to mess with nature?
So,
You know what I mean? Why do you got to come up with a machine that can control the weather? Why?
Or this, go on to President Donald Trump's theory that 1 kiloton nuclear bomb could fizzle out a hurricane if you able to get it in the eye. That dumb motherfucker. He said that one time.
Yeah, but
You
why
look
is
in the
that? Why
archives.
does that make that untrue?
Oh,
it
shit. That
doesn't
thing would
make
be
it untrue.
Why? But I'm saying is, why would that make that untrue? You don't know until you do it, right?
No, and
Right.
they got a timer and a fuse that.
I
could
mean,
get-
we never knew that we could slow down an
would-
asteroid with a fucking little rocket ship hitting it either, right? And we did that.
Thanks to the moon technology, that's
Dude,
what they got.
what
all
does
that
moon
stuff.
technology have to do with that? It has
I was
nothing to
talking
do.
about
Space.
It has
Blaze,
nothing to do with that. Never once have I ever claimed that we couldn't shoot a rocket into outer space. Never.
Blaze,
Never.
But they got some of that technology.
Okay, so don't even go there. Stay on the track that you've been
Yeah,
on.
moving
Okay.
on. Let's go down there.
So
right now.
again,
Please.
my point with that is that if we can shoot a rocket and stop an asteroid from moving around, who knows if we're messing around with the weather control. We had a show we had a show on that not too long ago, about a month and a half ago.
China and North Korea mess around trying to weaponize it now. There's people out there trying to weaponize it. They keep playing with it, and then we want to say, "Oh, it's so bad." Well, maybe it's our own doing. Once again, we go back to accountability. Where do we just like the lady with the reparations? Go back to the root of where it started, or just like Demas said earlier, go back to the source. We got to go back to the source on some of it, and when you go to the source, it's us as a species, as a human being. We're the ones messing with it, so maybe we need to stop. Who's going to come and try to say that one? And who can say why? to why the ice age and all that happened. That was climate change too. The climate's always going to change. But how about we start preaching and maybe addressing it as it really is about, hey, there's things we can fix. We're tearing our world up, and we can try to do better if we change our habits and maybe address it that way. And maybe you'll get more buy-in from people who are diehard about it's not me.
Right.
I just think the approach is all wrong anymore too. They scream climate change. Yeah, it changes every damn day. Shit, world changes every damn day. Give me something better as a voter. Get me better educated, because what you're saying is just the same jargon and bullshit, and we go absolutely nowhere.
Right. And with that being said, we'll be back with more of the economy, climate change, and how D is going to wake up, and he's going to stop the last segment of the rabbit hole when we come back in exactly 4 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the rabbit hole with yours truly, Mr. Blazeman, Mr. D, and Mr. Donald. We were going back and forth between climate change and the weather machines and the economy. And, so far we've talked about a bunch of topics tonight, but really not had um, any real good solutions for any of them. But we all can agree on one solution is if you can make money from it, things work out a lot faster, right, fellas?
Of course, if there's money to be made. That's why Davis busted me on that PACT Act. But you were talking about getting green and doing incentives. They did that to get people here to manufacture green. That's why I said that's the one good thing they've come out with during the whole time. And you were talking about how it's bipartisan. Yeah, green sees no color. It sees no political party or affiliation.
No.
Money's money, and you see how quickly that PACT Act went through. All they had to do was fight over discretionary fund crack, and that went through because people on both sides are going to make money. Their entities are going to make money from either shipping or whatever. So of course they make money. That's where it all comes down to. But that's once again, if we want to talk about our economy, how do we fix our economy? Money within our own borders, within ourselves. There's some dudes that were on. I posted it. It was on feestory.com. It was Timothy Nash and David Gottwell. When they were predicting about the economy, this is February 7th of 2022. They were saying this. About 5% in food price increase. Inflation will hit our food and wage area. That's about 5% higher, right? It's going to rise 5%. Where are we at right now? Food prices and wage prices are going through the roof. These guys were saying this in February, right? He talked about what he called the three problems that's our greatest economic threats in the future. Wage and food price inflation staying high because those are staples. We have to have those. They go hand in hand, So when those are high, we got problems. And this also talks about employment rates dropping. When they drop, wages go up. They know that. So prices go up, right? Things go up. So there's some problems there, how it associates. But what caught my eye was he called the Magnificent Seven control the S&P 500. And when he talks about the Magnificent Seven, he talks about Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Tesla, Meta, and NVIDIA.
He doesn't have Coca-Cola in there?
No. Those seven outperformed the S&P 5, everybody else in the S&P 500 by 33%.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, so what at that point the article is like, where does the government step in and break them up, or do we just let them other seven keep controlling that much? Because when you want to talk about it, when those seven control that much of our economy or S&P 500, they can dictate how economies go. So where's the medium on that one? How big do you let people get before you start trying to break them down and say about monopoly?
Hey guys, I got breaking news real quick. Breaking news. Judge Cannon rules Trump does not have to comply with a deadline stipulated by the DOJ or the special master, and does not have to submit a declaration about whether FBI planted evidence at Mar-a-Lago. This woman is the biggest disgrace in the history of the federal judiciary. This is that guy's fucking opinion about it. But
where'd you get that on your CNN?
This is from Andrew Wortman. He's it's on Twitter.
Oh.
So, anyways, there's that. If you want to go check the piece out again, it's on Twitter.
Right now. Let's really get to it. It's right there. How the hell are you going to tell me to have to back up those claims? You want to tell the Department of Justice shouldn't have to back up theirs? They shouldn't have to provide evidence to say you're guilty then. Some flat out bullshit. And is this judge higher than the other judges?
I think she's equal.
But it's just a deadline. He doesn't have to comply with the deadline.
Once
And
again, you're
the
telling me
DOG is the one who
by the
suggested, and the DOG was the one who suggested the deadline. So who would Ada suggest?
So
the
once
deadline?
again, but okay, so
I'm
once
listening to
again,
you.
here's a judge that's saying Mr. Trump don't have to play by the rules. This is why he's in the boat he's in now. He's always been able to play outside the rules. So what? Look at the precedence you're setting on this right now.
But
Any
as
other
far
case-
as law goes, she's going by law, and she's
What law?
saying that he
What
that
law?
he does. I listen. Don't all judges have to go by law?
Right, they go by law, but
All right, but I'm saying she
what
can't
law-
just make something
listen,
up.
Blaze,
Right? She has to go by
No,
law.
no.
she's not making it up. Bullshit stipulation that says he doesn't have to follow that. But once
Okay,
again,
I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying.
my point is this, Blaze. That my point is this.
I'm
You're
listening
telling him
to
once
your
again he
point,
doesn't have to
bro.
follow the rules. Well, stop talking. You can't talk.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Of course.
Once
Listen,
again, here we are telling
don't-
Trump he doesn't have to follow the rules. There you go, trying to open it up again. No, keep it closed.
that's not true. That she's
closed.
not telling
Yes,
him he
you
can't. He's
are.
not following the rules,
Yes,
bro.
you are by
How are
telling him
you
he
getting
doesn't.
that from that? How are you
Because-
getting that from that?
Stop fucking, Blaze. I'm gonna answer your damn question. I'm telling you, you're killing me, dude. There's a guideline. There's a date set. Department of Justice had a date set. Back up your claims with documentation by this date, or stop making those claims in court. The same applies to Mr. Trump and the defense. Stop making the claims that stuff was planted, or this or that, or back it up with evidence by this point, or this proceeding moves forward, and we're done with it. That is the rules that are even for both parties. That is law,
Right.
just the same.
And I
So once
agree
again,
with you
you're telling him he
100%.
doesn't have to abide by
But
that.
all I'm
So,
saying
no.
is there's got to be some law in order for her to say that he doesn't have to comply with any of this stuff, or why say it?
Well, maybe there is.
That's
but
all I'm
once
saying.
again-
That's
but
all I'm
once again,
saying.
here I go again. I'm trying to show you the example of the precedent you're setting by allowing this to happen in a court. Now all of a sudden you're telling me if I'm a defendant in another case, doesn't matter if it's money or whatever, I'm a defendant in another case with the same setup where they're making all these accusations, I'm making these accusations. I'm going to say, hey, you didn't tell him he had to prove his accusations. Why do I have to prove mine? So why am I guilty? I mean, you have to prove this stuff in a court of law. Come on. Now he just opens himself up for defamation lawsuits later on. So here we are again, wasting more time and money on somebody that's going to make $500 million a year and it's not going to mean anything to him. All you're doing is feeding his ego. And we all get to suffer for it because that's all that's in the news and we don't get nothing done anywhere else. Just think of all the precedents you set. Nobody has to prove right or wrong anymore.
I told
There's
you
no
they should have
way.
they should have just let him fucking be president. We would have been already almost 2 years into his second term. All he had to do was ride out another 2 years, and then boom, he can't be president ever again. Irrelevant. I'm just saying that, fucking, she's not just saying, oh, I'm going to make this rule up or this law. What she's saying has to comply with something, some kind of law, some kind of something. Like you said, even if it's some stupid thing. I mean, people get off on criminal acts because of a loophole or someone missed something. You know what I mean?
Right. But once again, here we go. We're gonna blame it on who? It's our own damn doing. How about we change the loopholes and cut off the laws, and maybe it trickles back down to gun rights and enforcement. Well, crime starts dropping because guess what? We enforce the laws better. It's like the man said, we have no fear of repercussions anymore as a society. We don't fear that. We fear none of that. So that's why, once again, this ruling with Trump, ripple effect. We already don't care if we break the law. Now we go break the law because I have a way to get out. I have a get out of jail free card damn near with that precedent that was just set by saying I don't have to prove that I'm right or I'm wrong. I don't have to provide you any proof. I can just say what I want to say, make all the accusations I want, and cloud up a trial to say I didn't do it, I did it, what? That's all you're doing.
Here's a piece of it
all we're
right here. So if anybody wants to check out the documentation about this breaking news right now, it will be up on FFN Radio Network Facebook page. I'm not going to sit here and read this or whatever. It'll be up for anybody who wants to read it. I'll send it to the boys after. So again, this is, if you want to read it, that's the documentation, or the judge's reasoning, why she said what she said and did what she did. Well, I'm not the fucking lawyer. I'm not this, I'm not that.
So
I can understand your frustration with me a little bit, Donnie. All I was trying to say is what she said, whether it's right or it's wrong, what she said has to be a law somewhere. There's got to be something in the books that says, hey, he doesn't have to do that. And if not, then she should be fired for making something up. Go ahead, D.
No, and I'm probably it's probably within the regulations, the laws, because she's not going to put herself out that much. But this goes back to the point. Trump appointed this lady, man.
Did he?
Yeah.
This is another one.
This is this is the one. So this is a loyalty, and you got to understand if there. A lot of people are watching this that are possibly in the judge material to step up to the next level at the federal side. And this is a good awakening for saying, "Oh, we'll be taken care of." These judges know how many years they got left on the bench before they step up. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and
sir.
and they could show a lot more of their views in their readings. And I forgot what it is when they read somebody's reading and they contradict or agree. Anyways, but they're already prepping themselves for that, man. You don't agree, Donnie?
No, of course they are. Of course
Okay.
they are. They know.
Okay.
This was U.S. District Court Judge Alan Cannon. He issued
Yep.
the order. And in here I'm reading political. There's going to be another timeline later, but that's still, it's beyond. My point is, you undermined a fellow judge. There was a timeline set for both parties. You got to enforce that timeline. You can't let it keep dragging on. Because the more you let it drag on, the more he mucks the water, and the more we can't get anything on him. Capone. The best thing they got to do is get him on taxes. Because you ain't going to get him on shit else.
Yep, because he's got too much on him.
Yeah. Quit dragging this out. Just call it quits. But when you do shit like this, I'm just worried about what else can happen after the fact.
Yeah.
I mean, that is insane.
And then with Big Joe up there, he doesn't have a squeaky clean life,
No.
And
But this is great for Biden. Because the more Trump ramps up about running for president, the more Biden and everybody can gather. The hardcore Democrats will gather around him and vote for him. So
they call it the Trump derangement syndrome. And when they first talked about it, I'm like, huh? What the fuck? No, I see it in full effect now, man. Not only on the media, but the government is infected with it.
But to me, that just shows the flat out corruption our government has, and we need to really open our eyes to that. That's flat out.
Yes.
Like you said, that's a favor returned right there. He called in a mark, man. He called in a mark. That's all that is. Just to give him more time, because like we said before, the more this drags out, the more profitable it is to be for him. It's like the civil lawsuit that New York's bringing against him for the 222 times 45, $250 million, whatever it is. That tells me the best you got is, because a civil case, burden of proof is much lower. It's much lower. So you don't have to go in so far in depth on what you're accusing the person of as far as burden of proof. So they came up with some number of 222. I don't know where that came from. Plus times the 45, because he's the 45th president, and somehow it comes out to $250 million. dude's getting sued for $250 million by New York for the real estate. He didn't pay taxes or he overvalued whatever. So that right there, if that's all that the state of New York can get him on after 2 years, 4 years of investigating him,
Shame.
what's to say that Congress or anybody else is going to come up with the same result? Probably so. And the same article in Forbes that talked about it, he'll make close to $500 million next year off all his real estate that he still owns. And so 250 to $250 million, oh well, that's a chump change. So he offered a settlement much lower. They didn't want to take it, so he'll pay his 250. And then anything that's involved within that case, guess what? I don't think you could take it back to a court of law because of double jeopardy rules. So it's a win-win for Trump. I mean, I lost some money. Boo-hoo. That's just another business transaction to that guy. You're not going to do anything to him.
It's fucked up, but it's true.
Yep.
It's true. They just have wasted so much time on it. 6 years already and still going. The shit that they just...
Yeah.
I just say it because I just feel it's true. They're fucking so petrified of this guy to go after him the way that they have been. It's insane.
It's insane, but...
It's truly insane. But
we're going to keep going on because you know why? It helps the Democrats every step of the way. That's the only reason they let it keep going. If I'm a Democrat, I'm going to let it keep going too, and I'm going to keep pushing those buttons, pouring more fuel on the fire, because it just keeps you out of my dirt and what I'm doing wrong. And how I'm absolutely worthless as well. But you don't have to talk about it.
Right.
But you're not talking about me every day, so it's okay. I'll operate under the radar. But the demon.
Hey, let's just end this out in a positive note with the folks in Florida.
There's nothing positive about nothing. I just heard from my ex neighbor. I just heard from my ex neighbor that just moved to Florida this year, and a tornado ripped through their area, and her house is fucking destroyed, along with tons of her other neighbors. The house is fucking gonzo. So my nephew, which lives in Florida, also said that he's doing good. Power's out. There's power out for almost 3 million people anyways. No flooding in his area, so he kind of lucked out a little bit. But my neighbors where they live in Florida, it got pretty busted up. But anybody here that's watching the show, and when you're watching the video afterwards, just go to the Red Cross, man, and donate if you can. You know what I mean? Give them whatever. That's one of the great things about this country. One of the great things about this country, that's always been one of the great things about this country. Whenever there's devastation, okay, and it has to do with our people here in the United States, the American people are right there, no matter what. But on the other hand, what drives me absolutely bananas is why can't we all get together like that to solve, you know what I mean, the homeless issue, the hunger issue? Because if you listen to President Sleepy Bunker Joe, for him, just the audacity and the nerve for him to come out and say he's going to cure some parts of cancer, he should never fucking say that. Never. He's going to cure hunger now, okay? And there was one of the gaffy thing that he said he was going to fucking cure or save.
Right.
But when it comes to cancer, that's a toughy fucking issue to me. You know what I'm saying? Because don't sit there and say you're going to fucking cure cancer, okay? That's all I got to say about that, you know?
Everybody has their opinion. You got to go through it. But as far as the hunger deal, we could have done fixed hunger. What? How much is $6 billion going to 40, 50? We could have done that 5-6 times over with the amount of aid we give out every year. That's what I'm saying.
And just what we give to Ukraine.
We're worried about the rest of the world, but we're just steadily watching our borders and our world, our states go to shit. And we got to start looking indoors.
But listen, I just got a hard one that hits to the head. Just think about what we just said, gentlemen. Just think about what we just said. What we send to Ukraine, okay, can cure the hunger in this country.
That's what everybody says. 6 billion. Remember the people with Elon Musk? 6 billion will cure hunger in the world.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
well, put up or shut up.
But
that's just it. Why
No.
can't we just sit there one day in Congress and say, all right, we're going to put that money, whatever the money is we give Ukraine so far. I don't know what the number is, but just say that they approve that money right now and say, all right, this is going to end hunger in the United States. Why can't that be like, let's just sit down and do that, guys and gals?
Yeah. Well, you honestly think it's that easy?
Well, you got to wait for why? We're sending it to fucking Ukraine that easy.
But hasn't COVID taught us anything about paying these people more to stay home than actually work? And you want to try this now, free food? I mean, and thank God on the homeless thing. I mean, not the homeless thing, the hungry thing.
Lost
I find
the video, Donnie.
I find that hard to believe that people are going hungry. COVID-19 opened so many food banks in this community in El Paso. It's crazy. It's crazy.
No, I know.
But people are going hungry. People are definitely going hungry now.
But they're not going to the sources. There's plenty of sources, and we opened them all up. Come on, guys. How many? Fuck,
Yeah,
we're
but
not
that's not for
40s and
you
not
or I.
No,
that's not for you or I. That's not for
But wait a
Donnie.
minute.
That's
But
not for none of us here in a panel.
Hey, but hold up. That goes to you and I,
How?
and him and them, in a different body. You hear me?
No.
Oh, there's Cadillacs in them thingies.
No.
Oh,
No.
yes, Blaze.
No.
Yes. Yes, man. Come on, man.
No.
It's more. Oh, come on. Don't you can't even defend yourself. You kicked out 50 immigrants out of Martha's Vineyard and put them in a military base. You can't even handle them in the community, so don't talk to me about giving
No
up.
shit, they can't handle them in the community.
You know?
I said that.
Blaze.
Come on.
I said that
Hey.
the fucking day that they showed up there. I said they won't be in that fucking on that island more than 2 days.
No.
More than 2 days.
Right.
Okay, because you know why? Because nothing but filthy rich people live on that island, and they don't want them fucking people around. Let's be real.
No,
Plain
you're
and
honest,
simple.
right. The extremely rich will taunt about we'll go fix, and they're all about getting that good image out there. But behind closed doors, they don't want that shit. They're
You
like,
bet
"Get
your
ass over
ass."
there."
Hey,
And you can't blame them. I mean, honestly, can you blame them? Because if you was over there, would you want, if you wanted your peace and quiet and your $1 million lifestyle where you're in a gated community and you can trust that things stay there? Of course
But
I
they-
wouldn't want to let you in.
Right now, if I became filthy rich,
No.
I
But
wouldn't
no.
care. I wouldn't care.
but
But if I was
people do
born
that.
filthy rich, maybe I'd have a different outlook on it.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm
People
saying?
do that. We do that amongst each other.
Yeah, Blaze. Yep.
No,
But,
don't even.
No, what kills the American public, it's the one that's posting the open immigration that he sent them to Obama's island.
Right.
You know, that's
Right, okay,
that was part of the point right there.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Obama was kind of open on migration. Didn't
Right. But
shit,
the
and
point was,
Obama was known as the porter in chief.
But how
Right.
dead is that story now, guys?
yeah,
I
we
think
all know
he
it's
said
dead.
it was going to die instantly on last week's show.
Yeah, it's died out. It's done.
What story?
Nobody cares anymore about the migrants getting bused over there and then
Right.
sent to
But nobody cares anymore
Nobody
because
cares
they
anymore
didn't drop
because-
them off in New York and they didn't drop them
No.
off in Chicago. They dropped them off on a rich island.
Hey,
You know
so
what I mean?
so I saw the workings
You
of
guys, we got 2 minutes.
a deport center here in El Paso, and shit. These folks are having that 3 major cities that are pasted on the wall, and it's got the chairs grouped in there. And these people are volunteering to go there. They're not being rounded up, except probably for the Venezuelans that went to Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, they got brainwashed and shit. But these other folks, that's where they
volunteering,
wanted to
yeah.
go. That's
Yeah,
where
they're
they want to
volunteering.
go.
They're
Yeah.
volunteering to go to these. That's fine. But when you guys go back on the hunger piece, Blaze, they could say it's 6 billion, but how does it get implemented? Because at that level, so much greed, because you got to pass it down so many different
Right.
levels. The greed gets in and
Absolutely,
it goes
Donnie.
away. So So that's
Right,
the problem
absolutely.
with it right there. And the
You know,
immigration
I
deal,
agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Exactly. People are going to be putting money in their pockets. Now you got to
Yeah.
create another government system. You know what I mean? I get it. I get it.
We got to implement it right. And the immigration deal, it's a dead subject now because guess what? There's no political move to be made because we already gave our 2 cents and rant and rave and got our attention that we wanted. Plus, there's no money to be made, so politicians don't give a shit.
Again,
Now it's just,
right.
hey, there's the system.
There we go with the money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
There you go
there's
with
no
the
money
money.
to be made. They're not going to give a shit anymore. They can't.
That's why
gain a
I'm so
vote from it.
surprised
There's
that
nothing that benefits
President-
them, so that's why they don't talk about it no more.
Right. That's why I'm so surprised that President Biden says he's going to cure some cancer. You know what I mean?
There's
wanna do
certain
that,
things. There's
but,
research going on, but whatever.
Let's see what happens. Yeah, I mean, listen, you don't come out as an individual and say, I'm going to do it. Okay. You give the credit to the people that have been doing the research on this shit. You don't come out and say, I'm going to fucking do it. You know what I mean? It takes a lot more than that.
Yeah,
And we have,
something.
let's
Flippers
see.
3, Pussycat 7. What is Crispy talking about?
I don't know.
That's Cripple.
That's Crispy Faco. We're talking about Crippa.
Oh.
That's Flippers 3, Pussycat 7. It's got to be a political thing with Chris. Who knows?
I know. Who knows? Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
I just got to get that one explained later.
It's just his lingo. You know, we haven't been around him in a while, so.
That's what I'm saying. I know it's his lingo and it's something that
The NFL.
Oh, okay.
Dolphins and Bengals. All right,
Gotcha. Now we got it. Now we got it. We were way wrong.
The Flippers, I know who they were.
Thursday night football, he's saying. I got you, brother. I got you. So anyhow, look, we're running late here. And so with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody who tuned into the show. Thanks, Chris, for the game update and all of that fun stuff like that. So, but listen, we got to come back with some of these topics next Thursday on a rabbit hole. And with that being said, again, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in tonight's show. Okay, we will catch you next Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. And come back with whatever. Again, if you got a topic that you want us guys to talk about, you can email us at ffnradiointernational@gmail.com. Okay, send us an email on something you might want to talk about or whatever, and we'll do our best to oblige you with that. Also, don't forget to check out Good Times with Jerry on Wednesday, 7 to 8 p.m. right here, again on FFN Radio Network and Blazeman Media. And, of course, The Rabbit Hole every Thursday night from 7 to 9 p.m. with yours truly, Blazeman, Mr. D, and Mr. Donnie. And with that being said, peace and love to each and every one of you out there. A little bit of a head nod and a prayer for those up there in Florida. I have some friends that were close to me and some family out there that had to deal with dealing with some hardship right now. And with that, Donnie, go, bro.
Oh, just hopefully we can take care of everybody affected by Ian and out there in Florida. Do the right thing, try to get it taken care of, and just like always, man, think positive, do positive. We can get some positive change, but if we don't try, we just got to stop complaining because we're only shooting ourselves in the foot.
D?
Yes, sir. A lot of great Americans volunteered for the war in Ukraine. We have a war in our own country right now, and it's Florida. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some good hotlines that people can tag along. And if you can't donate but labor with your work, there's definitely good programs down that will be available. And Walking Dead fans, season 11, part 3, this Sunday on AMC and AMC Plus if you have the app. That's all I got, Blaze.
All right. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Catch us next Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. The Rabbit Hole.